Hello, I'm Mohammed Nasir Hussain, 19EC01047. In this lab session, we'll be looking at the basic MATLAB operations. We start off by creating a simple vector of 10 elements, and then we'll add 3 to each element of the vector. This is the resultant vector. Now I'm creating a 5 cross 5 matrix where each row is separated using the semicolon operator, semicolon. Here is a matrix that is created. Now I'm creating another matrix which is the transpose of the previous matrix using this symbol. This is the matrix. Now I'm multiplying the two matrices using this asterisk symbol, and here I'm multiplying the two matrices element wise using the dot asterisk operation. Here I'm creating a column vector with the elements of the fourth row of the matrix X. Initially I'm extracting all the elements of the fourth row of the matrix X using this colon symbol, and then I'm applying the transpose operation. So now I get a column vector consisting of all the elements of the fourth row of the matrix X. Here I'm extracting the second, third and fourth columns of the matrix X. These are the three columns. Here I'm creating a submatrix X2 which lies completely inside the matrix X. It contains elements of second, third, fourth rows and second, third, fourth columns of the matrix X. Here I'm deleting the third column of the matrix X. This is the resultant matrix X. In the first part of the second question, we'll be looking at the basic MATLAB commands to plot a graph. Here we'll be plotting y equal to sin x and y equal to cos x for x in the range minus 2 pi to 2 pi. The subplot 3, 1, it divides the figure window, this is the figure window here, into 3 rows and 1 column as you can see over here. In the first subplot, I have drawn y equal to sin x. You can add a title label to x and label to y using this title x label and y label commands. In the second subplot, I have plotted y equal to cos x, and in the third subplot, I have plotted both cos x and sin x using this hold on command. I've also used the stem command over here. What the stem command does is it adds vertical lines to the graph as you can see over here, and this here is called a legend. You can get that using this legend command. And also in the first and the second subplots I've also used grid on and axis tight, whereas I haven't used both of them in the third. Now in the second part of the second question, I'll be creating two variables a and b as you can see over here. I'm saving these two variables a and b into a .mat, .txt and .xls file. All you have to do is use this save function, specify the name of the file and specify the name of the variables that have to be saved into the file. You can also save these two variables into an ASCII file, and you can display the elements of the ASCII file using this type function. I'll be doing that in a moment. And here I'm creating a structure which has three attributes: name, role and mobile. I've also assigned values to these three variables. Now I'm saving the structure s1 into this new struct.mat file. You can see this file over here. When I click on it, I get these three attributes in the workspace. And now I'll be showing how to append a variable to a file. Here I've created two variables a, b. I've saved these variables into an example.mat file. Now I'm creating another variable c, and now I'm appending this third variable c into this example.mat file using this minus append. And now read cell and write cell. I've created a 1 cross 3 cell RGB as you can see over here, and I'm writing and this using this I'm using this write cell and read cell command, and I'm reading the elements of this file rgb.txt into this variable d, which I'll be displaying in a moment. Similarly, I'm using read matrix and write matrix. I've created a random 3 cross 2 matrix. I'm writing this matrix. It will be by default written in a .txt file, and I'm extracting it from a .txt file. And okay, so this is the output. Here in the ASCII file contains a and b, two variables which are displayed using this type function over here. This is a and this is b. And now here as you can see, this cell is being read into this variable d, which is being displayed over here. And now the matrix read using this read matrix, I'm extracting it into this variable r, which is being displayed over here. And now the last thing is audio read. I've saved this file song.mp3 in the current folder. I think you can listen to this audio now. In the third question, first we'll find the roots of this quadratic equation x square plus 0.5 x plus 2. Here a, b and c are nothing but the coefficients of x square, x and x bar 0. And using this roots function, I'll get the roots of the quadratic equation. I'll display the roots over here. As you can see, these are the two roots of the equation. And now I'll be plotting the graph of x square plus 0.5 x plus 2 in the range minus 5 to 10. You can see the plot over here. In the fourth question, I'm creating a vector v. I'm using repelm on the vector to I'm repeating the vector thrice. As you can see over here, this is the resultant vector form. And in this case, I'm repeating the first element once, second element thrice, and so on. This is the vector that is formed. And now I'm creating a 2 cross 2 matrix A, and I'm using repelm on the matrix. Here I'm repeating the rows twice and the columns once. This is the resultant matrix. And here I'm repeating the rows twice, the first column once and the second column thrice. This is the matrix that is obtained. Here I'm using this repmat using the repmat function on a matrix to repeat it thrice vertically and twice horizontally. This is the resultant matrix that is obtained here. And now I returns a unit matrix of the specified dimension. Zeros return a matrix containing all zeros of the specified dimension. Ones return a matrix containing all ones of the specified dimension. And rand returns a random matrix where each element lies between 0 and 1, as you can see over here. Here I created a row vector of elements 1 to 10. I'm using the reshape function to obtain a matrix B, which consists of 5 rows and 2 columns, as you can see over here. And now I'm using cat function, which is used to concatenate two matrices. Here the first argument is the dimension along which concatenation has to take place. Here X is formed by vertical concatenation of zeros of a 0 vectors and 1 vectors, as you can see over here, 0 matrix and 1 matrix. And here Y, this is Y, which is formed by horizontal concatenation. You can also do this using horsecat and vertcat functions, as you can see over here. And now diagonal. Here I'm creating a matrix D whose diagonal elements are 1, 2, 3 and 4, as you can see over here. And in this case, I'm creating a vector V1 which consists of the diagonal elements of the matrix T. This is the vector V1, 1, 5, 9. And now block diagonally. I've used 3 matrices, T1, T2, T3, and I've applied block diagonal. What it does is the T1, T2, T3 are aligned along the diagonal of BD. This is the resultant BD matrix that you see. Okay, now flip LR will flip the matrix from left to right like this, and flip UD will flip the matrix up down in this way. And now rot 90. This will here in T90, I'm rotating this matrix T by 90 degrees in the counterclockwise direction. In this T180, I'm rotating the matrix T in the counterclockwise direction by 90 degrees twice. Like this is T90 and this is T180. And TRIL and TRIU, these give the upper triangular, these give you the lower triangular and upper triangular matrices of a particular matrix. As you can see over here, this is TRIL and this is TRIU. And now permute. Permutes the dimensions, gives us a matrix which is formed by the permutation of the previous matrix dimensions. This is the matrix that is obtained. Circular shift. Here this is shifting by rows. Here I have created this matrix K, and this is by shifting the rows twice. And this S2, this is S2, this is obtained by shifting the columns once. And now length returns the largest array dimension. For example, here it is 7, in 3, 7, 5 are the dimensions. Size returns as the size of the matrix. Here it is a 3 cross 4 matrix. And now ndems returns the number of dimensions, ne returns this ndems returns the number of dimensions, numl returns the number of elements in the matrix, isempty returns a logical 0 or a logical 1 if it returns a logical 0 if the matrix that is passed is empty, and it returns a logical 1 if the matrix that is passed is empty, and a logical 0 if it is not empty. In this fifth question, we'll be looking at the different loop types in MATLAB. I've used a while loop over here to calculate 15 factorial. Similarly, I've also used a for loop to calculate 15 factorial. These are the results over here. And now nested for loop. Here I've taken a random array of integers, and now what this code does over here is it looks for it gives you the maximum pairwise sum of the elements in this array A. This is the array, and this is the maximum pairwise sum which can be obtained by adding these two elements over here. And now the continue statement, like the code that I've written over here, it like from between 10 and 20, it loops for n equals to 10 to n equal to 20, and if the number n is divisible by 3, then it displays that number. If it is not divisible by 3, then it just the continue statement is executed and moves to the next iteration. Like here 12, 15, 18 are displayed. And the break statement, here I've taken a random array of integers and a random number. Now what this code does is it searches for this number in this array. If it is found, then it displays found and it breaks out of the for loop, or else it keeps iterating till the end. Now here this is the array and this is the element, this is the number. So this number is present in the array, so it displays found over here. In the last question, we look at decision making in MATLAB. We first start with the if end statement. Now here in this code, I've taken a random integer from -10 to 10. If the number is negative, this if condition checks whether the number is negative or not. If it is negative, then it executes the statement, that is the number is converted into a positive number, and then it is displayed over here. And then next thing is the if else statement. Over here again I've taken a random integer between -10 to 10, and now if the element is less than 0, then it displays negative, or else it displays non-negative. Next thing is if else end. Here this code here tells you whether a particular year is a leap year or not. Here I've taken a random integer between 0 to 2020, and it tells you whether the particular year is a leap year or not. For example, let us look at this. Here the year taken is 1063, which is not a leap year. That is being displayed over here. Like first it checks for this if condition. If it is executed, then if the condition is true, then this statement is executed, or else it checks for this condition. If it is true, this is executed, or else it checks for this condition. If it is true, this is executed, or else this is executed. Now coming to nested if, again over here I've done the same thing. I've checked whether I'm using this code to check whether a particular year is a leap year or not. Again the year obtained over here is 1125, which is not a leap year. Like first this if condition is checked. If it is true, it moves in and again checks this condition, or else it directly goes to this else statement, and inside this else statement is if it checks for this condition. If it is true, this is executed, or else this is executed. And now switch statements. In some cases, instead of writing too many if else statements, we can use a switch statement. Here I've selected a random number between -5 to 5. If the number is 1, it displays positive 1. If the number is -1, it displays negative 1. If the number is 0, it displays 0. Otherwise, it displays other value. Now here it displayed -1 because the number here is -1. And now nested switch. Here I've taken two variables x and y, which are x is 1 and y is -1. Now looking at the switch statement, what we expect is switch case 1. So this is true, it moves in. Now y, case -1. So this has to be executed, one positive and one negative. That is exactly what is displayed over here. Thank you.